Mario Kart World, Nintendo's tentpole title for the Nintendo Switch 2. A revolutionary entry in the Mario Kart franchise that seeks to show off the power of this new hardware and change how the game is approached while simultaneously sticking to what made previous entries so much fun. With brand new mechanics and an open world to explore, Mario Kart World is a breath of fresh air. But can you put a price on all that fresh air? Nintendo certainly thinks so, and they priced it at $80. This caused the conversation to shift completely. This is a fantastic game, but is it worth the high price of entry that Nintendo has set? Hi, I'm Matt. I like to talk about video games, pop culture, and pretty much anything else that piques my interest. I've spent the better part of the last 2 weeks playing Mario Kart World, and while I haven't 100%ed it, I do feel like I've played enough to know exactly what I love and don't love about it. I gave some immediate feedback on this title in my last video, which you can watch here. But now that I am well over 30 hours in, I wanted to make a follow-up video to discuss my opinions in greater detail. This is my review of Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Switch 2. Mario Kart World features the classic staples of recent Mario Kart games, but many of them have a twist that changes how they are played. The Grand Prix is in this game, like every other Mario Kart, but it does not consist of 4 separate races. Instead, you race from course to course, and not all courses have the traditional laps, but include point A to point B courses. While I do certainly miss being able to easily master a course by playing it over and over again, lap after lap, I do think that this adds a lot of variety in how each of these races are played. The races are much larger, both in how long it takes to complete and just larger in scale, allowing more room for the 24 players in an active race. Oh, that's right. There's 24 players in each race instead of the previous 12. 24. That makes everything so much more hectic in all of the races. Another returning mode from previous Mario Kart games is Versus Mode. This allows players to race against each other on custom courses and with custom rules, such as race classes, teams, normal or frantic items, and more. This is, as far as I know, the only way that you can play courses in the traditional 3-lap setup, so if you ever want to master a course, this is the best way to do it. But it's best enjoyed with a buddy or two to play along with. Battle mode also returns from previous games. Compete against other players and try to pop each other's balloons in Balloon Battle, or fight to collect the most coins in Coin Runners. This can be played in single player, but again, this is a great game mode to play with friends. But enough of talking about old and returning game modes. Let's talk about what's new to Mario Kart World. Remember those 24 players I talked about earlier? What if I told you that there were more? This game actually features 50 characters in total, including 24 characters with alternative costumes that can be unlocked by eating snacks during races at these cute Yoshi restaurants that can be found all over the map. Additionally, not all of these characters are unlocked straight away. Instead, you have to complete different cups to unlock them. The remaining characters previously only exist as obstacles and tracks. While some are unlocked right off the rip, others can only be unlocked using Kamek's transformational power, which is a new item found in the game. These characters cannot be customized, but just seeing characters like Nabbit, Piranha Plant, and a freaking cow driving around on these courses is just so much fun. Additional items that can be unlocked throughout the game include carts. This is similar to how it worked in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where new carts are unlocked as you collect coins. In this game, a new cart is unlocked around every 100 coins you get. And to get every cart, you need to collect somewhere around 3,000 coins. However, unlike the previous title, you cannot customize these vehicles with different wheels and gliders. What you see is what you get, but every vehicle does have different stats for how it handles. There are 2 key new areas in Mario Kart World that I feel are the main draw and focus of this game. One of these areas is Knockout Tour. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We got a Mario Kart Battle Royale before we got GTA 6. Knockout Tour takes place across 5 different courses, racing from one to the next, with the bottom 4 drivers getting eliminated from a race at different cutoff points. This is a thrilling game mode, and it brings a lot of replayability to an already replayable formula. Of all the new things that were added, Knockout Tour really feels like the first real justification for a new Mario Kart game. The goal of the game changes to not just wanting first place by the end of the race, but instead makes you desperate to just survive the current lap and stay ahead of that cutoff. The second main draw of the game is free roam. Each of the courses in the Grand Prix and each route taken in Knockout Tour revolves around Mario Kart World's new open world. And what a world it is, full of character and detail that makes every little section feel right at home in the Mario universe. Here you can practice laps for races, collect coins and outfits, and take tons of pictures as you explore. Across this world are hundreds of things to be discovered and to interact with by way of P-Switch missions, Peach medallions, and question panels. P-Switch missions are the most common thing to discover. Time-limited challenges that can teach you basic driving techniques and allow you to test your parkour skills using the new rail grinding and wall riding mechanics. Some of these can be pretty straightforward, dodging obstacles, or simply trying to get to a goal as quickly as possible before time runs out. Others can be legitimate challenges and take multiple times to get them right. There are 394 P-switches scattered across Mario Kart World's map, so completing them all is not something that you're going to be able to do quickly. Peach medallions can also be found in each course location, as well as around the rest of the map. These are not as straightforward to collect, as they can often be found in tricky locations that really force you to think and plan out how you get to them. The same can be said for the question panels found in the courses. These can sometimes be easy to reach, however, they often require really exploring every nook and cranny of each course and finding secret entrances to areas that you otherwise would be unable to reach. You may also find yourself needing to master your parkour mechanics in order to reach them as well. All of these challenges and collectibles reward you with different stickers that can be used to customize your cart. Each sticker has a unique design that feels right at home, with all the art, billboards, and advertisements that can be found throughout the open world of the game. You can also collect stickers by simply playing the game, as you can unlock them by completing objectives, such as collecting a certain amount of coins, competing in a certain amount of races, driving a certain distance, and more. With all of these added up, there are over 1,000 stickers in the game, so collecting them all will take some time. All of these new additions add up to a game that has plenty to do and see, and even more to collect. But not everything is perfect in Mario Kart World. In fact, many of the additions that I mentioned leave a lot to be desired, so I would be remiss not to talk about some of them. Don't get me wrong, I really love the open world that Mario Kart World has to offer. It's so relaxing to just cruise around my favorite courses and find new things to explore. Like I said, there is a lot of character and charm to be found in this map. This is a very, very enjoyable map, but I also feel that it is just a little uninspired. Outside of the collectibles and missions that I mentioned, there isn't really a lot to do in free roam other than just drive around. I think that all of the courses found in the game are exceptional and feature some of the greatest Mario Kart courses in the franchise's history. But other than the areas immediately outside of those courses, it's just a lot of rivers, roads, and hills. Free roam is a lot of simple, pointless fun, letting you take control of semi-trucks, helicopters, and even more vehicles, albeit only for a brief amount of time. But those same vehicles are nowhere to be found in most of the other game modes, which is such a shame because they're a ton of fun to mess around with and would allow players to have a momentary advantage in races without needing items. But instead, we can only use them in P-switch missions or when randomly coming across them in the open world. Another fun idea that was underutilized. The new parkour mechanics, while a lot of fun, don't add a ton to the overall experience. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that these new mechanics are not used in many courses at all. There are some where they can be used frequently, and those courses are a lot of fun. Courses like DK Spaceport, Mario Bros. Circuit, Sky High Sunday, Salty Salty Speedway, Whistletop Summit, Acorn Heights, and Shy Guy Bazaar utilize these new mechanics, but there are just as many courses, if not more, that hardly utilize them at all. Now, I'm all for keeping the traditional Mario Kart style of races. I understand some of these new mechanics being difficult to approach without spending time really mastering them, but at the same time, I also question the point of these new mechanics if they aren't at least an option in most courses. The same complaint can be said when going between courses, and by the same token, throughout the open world. Rail grinding and wall riding is hard to find when driving from one course to another, whether that be in the Grand Prix or the Knockout Tour. It's not impossible to find, like rail grinding on power lines and wall riding along cliff sides, but for a mechanic that was so heavily marketed, I just feel like it should have been featured a little more. I love all the alternative costumes for characters like Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and Yoshi, but I can't help but feel like the rest of the characters got left out. Baby Luigi only has 2 alternative outfits, but Baby Mario has 3. Pauline, a fan favorite character from Super Mario Odyssey, only has 1 alternative outfit. Donkey Kong, a character who is getting the next big game for the Nintendo Switch 2, only has 1 alternative outfit. I'm sure more outfits could be added in future updates, whether that be in free or paid DLC, but I wish we had an even amount of outfits for each character now at the launch. But my biggest complaint just comes down to how pointless and repeatable so much of this game feels, and how a lot of it comes down to the previously mentioned activities and collectibles found in free roam. While I still think that there is a lot of challenge and fun to be had while going after all those P-switches, I also think that a lot of the objectives are too similar. Collect blue coins, make it to the goal by getting around or going through enemies, etc., etc. And when you have nearly 400 to go through, it can feel a bit old sometimes, even when there are some highlights found amongst them. And while we're on the topic, there is no way to track how many P-switches you have completed. In fact, there is no way to track any of the collectibles I mentioned earlier, aside from the question panels. The only information can be found when viewing the map, but even there you can't see where you found the completed objectives. You can only view how many you found so far, but there's no way to see how many are left. Again, this is something that can be fixed in a future update, but it feels like such a big oversight to not include it at launch. My biggest complaint around these objectives is what you get out of them. Like I mentioned earlier, for each P-switch, question panel, and Peach medallion that you collect or complete, you get a sticker. And once everything is added up, over 1,000 stickers can be found as options to use on your cart. But only one of them can be used at a time. That's right, 1,000 stickers to choose from, but you can't use multiple at once. I thought that I could put them wherever I wanted, however I wanted, like a sticker. Instead, these work more like an icon that you can barely see on the carts. Fortunately, I enjoy looking at the designs for these, and I do enjoy completing each of the challenges to get them, so I'm not too dissuaded from trying to collect the stickers, but I can easily understand why some players don't see the need to keep going when the rewards are hardly worth the work. And this complaint isn't just limited to these specific collectibles. Nabbit can be found at each course while in free roam, and your objective is to catch him as he runs around. The first time you catch him, he is unlocked as a character to race. After that, you get a few coins, and that's it. After that first catch, coins is all you get. And I get it, it's more about the fun of catching him than it is about the reward. But when he appears at every single course, I guess I just wish that there was more incentive to catch him, even if that incentive was just more outfits or something. Individually, these complaints aren't much, but when added up all together, they add up to be some unignorable flaws. The good news is that, like I have mentioned again and again, almost every flaw listed can be fixed in future update. But these are things that should have been included from the start, especially if including these in a future update means that we get less new outfits, or less new carts, or less new courses. Yeah, that was a lot of nitpicking, but let's be honest here. None of these issues are game-breaking. None of them make the game less enjoyable, and none of them make me want to stop playing, because despite all of the issues I mentioned, despite all of the things that I wish were different, and despite all of the things I wish were improved, it doesn't change the fact that Mario Kart World is a blast. This is a worthy successor of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it is incredibly polished. From its classic and new items, to its tight controls, to its absolutely fantastic soundtrack. It's a celebration of both Mario games and previous Mario Kart titles, and it's a standout title that is a great start for Nintendo's next generation. And with future updates and DLC, Mario Kart World has nowhere to go but up. But we have to address the elephant in the room. Is it worth $80? And to be honest, I can't fully answer that, as I technically only paid $50 for this game, since I got the digital version that came with my Nintendo Switch 2 bundle. But if I had to pay an additional $30 to get the game, I don't think that I would be too angry about it. But I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be slightly disappointed. For $80, I feel like more could have been included. We could have seen more courses, though I feel 30 is a great number to start. We could have seen more characters and more alternatives. For $80, we could have seen a full campaign or story mode, or at the very least, some more interactions with characters in free roam. There's a lot that could have been included at this price point, and in time, I'm sure more will be included. So I think that the $80 price can only be judged based on what you are looking for in a game. It can only be judged based on the type of content that you value in a title. Me personally, Mario Kart World is already past Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in play activity, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I have so much more to collect, so much more to see, and so much more to do in order to master courses and mechanics. So while I did not pay $80 to play this game, I feel that in time, I will have gotten $80 out of it. So yes, I think this game will someday be worth the $80 price tag it has. It will someday be looked back on as a pinnacle title, not just for the Nintendo Switch 2, but for the Mario Kart franchise as a whole. And while I don't necessarily think it's there right now, I still feel that this is a superb addition to what is an already legendary franchise that will someday prove it is worthy of this price. But don't ever purchase a product based on the promise of what a game will be like in its future. Buy it for what it is now. And for me, I would pay $80 simply because I think I myself enjoy it enough to justify spending that money, even if it doesn't make a great case for its cost of entry. But maybe you feel differently. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a like, and follow me on Twitter and Bluesky for goofy takes and updates on videos to come. But whatever you do, I just want to thank you for watching this video. The Switch 2 generation is just getting started, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to date on all of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.